You know the relationship is wrong. You have known for 8 months, maybe longer. Every time you sit with the honest version of the thought, the unedited one, before the justifications arrive, the conclusion is the same. But then the justifications arrive, and by the end of them, you have convinced yourself again that it is complicated, that the timing is wrong for change, that you are probably overthinking it. You are not overthinking it. You are protecting a comfortable lie from the knowledge that threatens it. Psychologists have a clinical name for this. They call it cognitive dissonance, the mental stress produced by holding two contradictory beliefs simultaneously. And the research is consistent. The mind does not resolve the contradiction by choosing truth. It resolves it by attacking the truth. Nietzsche saw this mechanism clearly, and he named what psychology only partially describes. Cognitive dissonance is not a malfunction. That is what makes it dangerous. It is the mind operating exactly as designed, protecting the existing belief structure from information that would require it to change. The discomfort you feel when confronted with an inconvenient truth is not the experience of being confused. It is the experience of your belief system defending itself. It is a self-deception of philosophers and moralists to imagine that they escape decadence by opposing it. That is beyond their will, and however little they acknowledge it, one later discovers that they were among the most powerful promoters of decadence. Nietzsche was not writing about philosophers specifically. He was writing about every man who believes he is honestly confronting his situation while constructing increasingly sophisticated reasons to maintain it unchanged. The self-deception does not feel like deception. It feels like careful thinking. You are currently maintaining 3 lies. Not consciously, structurally. The first lie is about your situation. The job, the relationship, the city, the version of your life that you know is not the right one and have assembled a comprehensive framework for why you cannot change it yet. The second lie is about your capability. The thing you have not built, not started, not committed to, that you have explained away as a timing problem rather than a commitment problem. The third lie is about your direction. The version of yourself you are actually becoming versus the version you tell people you are becoming. These two have diverged. You know it. The divergence has been growing for longer than you would admit in an honest conversation. A single individual contains within him a vast confusion of contradictory valuations and consequently of contradictory drives. These are not moral failures. They are the natural output of a mind that has been told that its survival depends on maintaining a consistent self-image even when the self-image is false. But here is what nobody says about cognitive dissonance. Intelligence does not protect you from it. It amplifies it. The more sophisticated your thinking, the more effectively you can construct the justification. The smarter you are, the more convincing the story you build around the lie. The man with limited cognitive resources capitulates to the truth faster because he runs out of arguments sooner. The intelligent man can sustain the dissonance for years, decades, an entire life, in some cases. Life has not been devised by morality. It wants deception. It lives on deception. Nietzsche was not endorsing deception. He was describing a structural feature of consciousness that most people never examine because examining it requires confronting the lies it is protecting. The smarter you are, the more dangerous this mechanism becomes if you never turn it directly against itself. Nietzsche's concept of perspectivism, the idea that all knowledge is interpreted from a specific perspective and no single perspective contains the complete truth, is frequently used to justify cognitive dissonance. The argument goes, since all perspectives are partial, my perspective is as valid as any other. My justifications are therefore not lies, they are simply my interpretation. This is the most sophisticated version of the lie, and Nietzsche did not endorse it. Insight. All evaluation is made from a definite perspective, because we forget that valuation is always from a perspective. A single individual contains within him a vast confusion of contradictory drives. Perspectivism does not mean all perspectives are equally useful. It means you must examine which perspective you are operating from and why. The man who uses perspectivism to avoid examining his own self-deception has not understood Nietzsche. He has used Nietzsche as a more elaborate justification for remaining unchanged. The lie becomes identity when you have maintained it long enough. This is the final stage. The point at which the dissonance is no longer felt as tension, because the lie has been repeated so many times, defended so many times, integrated into so many other beliefs, that it no longer registers as a lie. It registers as who you are. The man who wanted to build something but didn't becomes the man who was never really a builder. The man who knew his direction was wrong but stayed becomes the man for whom this direction is natural. The man who recognized his capability but never tested it becomes the man who does not have that capability. The lie becomes biography. 3 steps. The demolition protocol. Step 1. Name the dissonance exactly. Not in general terms. In specific, concrete language that leaves no room for reinterpretation. Not, I have doubts about my direction, but I have known for 11 months that this job is wrong, and I have not acted on that knowledge. Precision removes the room for the justification to operate. Vague discomfort can be managed. A specific named contradiction cannot be managed, only addressed or deliberately ignored. Step 2. Remove the exit routes. The mind will immediately produce the standard exits. I need more information. The timing is wrong. I am not ready. Things might change on their own. Do not engage with any exit route. Name it as an exit route. This is the timing justification. This is the readiness argument. Then set it aside without addressing it. You do not need to defeat the justification. You need to refuse to enter the negotiation. The negotiation is where the lie survives. Outside of it, the lie has no defense mechanism. Step 3. Act from the knowledge you already have. You do not need new information. You have had sufficient information for longer than you would admit. Men were considered free only so that they might be considered guilty. The most fundamental psychological deception was made the principle of psychology itself. The action does not need to be large. It needs to be consistent with the truth rather than consistent with the lie. One decision taken from the honest assessment rather than the defended one breaks the structural integrity of the dissonance. The lie requires consistent reinforcement to survive. One act of honesty, one decision made from what you actually know rather than what you have convinced yourself, begins the demolition. Start there. Not with understanding, not with more reflection, with the single action that the lie has been preventing. If this hit differently than what you usually watch, subscribe. No motivation, no self-help. Nietzsche, every week.